Welcome. Solving ACCA exam questions requires knowledge of basic algebra. And if you're rusty on that, don't worry. In this video, I'm going to review the order of operations and how to solve for an unknown when it's at different places in an equation. After you view this video, you can practice what I've shown you in the next video, and in fact, all of the videos in this series are using these principles. Let's begin. I've got an equation on my screen, 2 squared plus 5 times 10 equals 54. Let's review the order of operations. In other words, what we need to do first, second, and third here. The first thing we have is 2 squared. So that is an exponent, and we always do that first. So 2 squared is 4. After that, we always do multiplication and division. So 5 times 10, that's 50. And the last thing that we would do then is the addition and the subtraction, and that's how we got to the 54. Now, one thing supersedes all of that, and that's parentheses. If I wrap part of this in parentheses, we do that first. So inside the parentheses, I've got the 2 squared. I'll do that first. So now we have 4 plus 5 times 10. So I do this part first in the parentheses. So that would be 9 times 10, or 90. So the solution, when we put parentheses in there, is 90. Let's now move to a review of basic algebra. Imagine we have to solve for the 10. Imagine we didn't know what was in that spot, so we have an unknown there in x. So we would restate that 2 squared plus 5x equals 54. So let's now square that 2, and we have 4 plus 5x equals 54. And now we need to get rid of this 4. So if it's positive on the left, we need to remove it with a subtraction. So if I subtract 4 from each side, the 4 would go away, and it would be 5x equals 50 minus 4, or 50. At that point, we need to get rid of the 5. So I would divide both sides by 5. And then x would be equal to 50 divided by 5, or 10. Imagine we needed to find the 5, and I've replaced the 5 with x. We'd do the same thing. 2 squared plus 10x equals 54. So this will work the same way. 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 10x equals 54. We subtract 4 from both sides, and then we have 10x equals 50. And now we divide both sides by 10, and we have x equals 5. Now, imagine that the unknown was the 2. So at this point, we're going to combine these two first. So we have x squared plus 50 equals 54. Now, we need to get rid of that 50. So I'll subtract the 50 from both sides. X squared equals 4. To get rid of the squared, I would use the square root. So the square root of x squared will be equal to the square root of 4. So x is equal to 2. You can put that 4 into your calculator and use the square root function, or you could even write it like this in a scientific calculator. 4 to the power of 1 over 2. And you need to use those parentheses in your scientific calculator. Imagine we had this now. X to the power of 3 is equal to 8. Well, now we need to find the cube root of 8. So we would say that x is equal to 8 to the power of 1 over 3, and that would be 2. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a review of how we isolate a variable, an unknown, when it's on the left side of the equation incorporated with other figures. You'll need to get the hang of this in order to solve ACCA exam questions. In the next videos, I'll take you through some examples of how to do this, and in all of the videos in this series, we're actually using that skill, so you have more opportunities to practice this with these videos.